there's a lot of people you can see. Some of the guys and girls you follow on social media, that there's a change in behaviours now in terms of the type of posts they're putting out, or the comments and the reactions to other things. So there is some people which are struggling with everything going on with COVID, which is completely understandable. What would you say are kind of the key signs to look out for if someone is struggling? What would you kind of say are the key things to look out for?
I think number one is, what people don't realise is that we've all got mental health, and mental health problems can occur at any point in your life, especially in times like this when you're not doing your normal routine, you're sitting at home. I think that the signs that I always see or look out for or hear of is people that are stripped away from everything they're normally doing, and then all of a sudden go into a routine of sitting at home, watching Netflix, binge eating, not doing exercise. They've lost their whole routine. So what else do they do? And it's a really easy cycle to embed yourself in if you don't know and you've not been there before. Like I was speaking to one of my clients the other day, he said that their anxiety has risen so much because they're just not even getting out of bed, not doing anything.
Yeah.
What's going to happen if you're not going to be active, not do exercise, not get outside, not speak to other people, and just sit there? And like social media and news at the moment is so intense that the signs are so easy to pick up and so easy to escalate quickly. So be very mindful of that, especially right now.
You can get bogged down with the news because it's typically very negative, isn't it? There's not a lot of positive stories on the news. And it's easy to get sucked down that path. I know a lot of people have just stopped watching the news. And I think on one of the videos you recently did, you said limit it to maybe 30 minutes a day, the news, because it can affect you. It can get you in a zone that you don't want to be in. I watched your video, I watched it on Instagram, 11-minute brilliant video, which kind of gives 10 fantastic tips of how to get through this and not struggle with the anxiety issues and not struggle with maybe panic attacks if people have them, but just 10 great tips of how to actually handle it. Do you want to just fire those off for us, those 10 tips?
Yeah, definitely. I've got them written down here, so you can see me looking down. So one is just accepting the situation for what it is. Do not resist. Number two is just structure your day. Make a plan, even if it's the day before. Exercise, number three, so important. Allocate time. Number four, connect with people. I have targeted myself to connect with FaceTime 5 different people per day as a minimum. Number five is diet. Massively important, as well as exercise. They go hand in hand. Number six is limit the news, which you said earlier, to 30 minutes a day. You don't need to watch everything. Number seven is create a morning routine. I think if you have a morning routine, you can start your day right. Super important. Number eight is I do a 24-hour detox on social media and news. Just take it all away, strip it back. Super important. Number nine is do not sit in bed all day and work from your bed. People would still do it. Stay away from your bed, go back there at night time as you normally do. And number 10, which is the most important one, is look out for others, especially in these challenging times.
I think that's a key one, because I think as we go into week 3, there's a lot of personal satisfaction you can get from making someone else happy. And I think people sometimes underestimate the importance of people you care about, making them happy, but how that also affects you personally as well. And I think that's something that next week everyone's got to be a lot more aware of that. I think the first 2 weeks were people just getting used to what was going on and dealing with it. And like you said, just acknowledging this is not my fault. It's just my responsibility how I act. I think it's a Will Smith quote, which I love, is this is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. Out of those 10 tips, if there was a top 2, what would those top 2 be for you?
So number one, I'm just going to use this as an experience. Someone who watched my video messaged me yesterday, and they said, I've just taken one of your tips into hand. I just called my friend. They had really bad anxiety at the time. It was rising. One of the tips was obviously get in contact with one person, called their friends, was on the phone for an hour and a half, realised they were in the same situation and that they couldn't control it, but they can control what they're doing. And all of a sudden had that hour and a half conversation. Both of them forgot about their anxiety completely. It was an instant switch. It was one of the most powerful messages I got off that video, and I'm super grateful of that. So yeah, that one. And the other one is exercise. Realising that you're in isolation 24 hours a day, just to be outside for an hour, half an hour, 20 minutes, go for a long walk. It can take you away from what you're going through at the moment. And you know what? At the moment in the UK, the weather's actually nice. So 100%. Those two are, I would say, probably my ones that I do every day, and they're the ones that are having the most impact at the moment.
Love those. I really appreciate you coming on today and sharing, obviously, your wisdom with everyone. Virtual handshake if we can. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you soon. If anyone wants to obviously get hold of you, I'll link everything into the video. But Ignite Your Mind Coaching, you're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, any other platforms?
Twitter, and I've got my website, yeah, but pretty much
all over the place. You can find him. Sanjay, appreciate it. Have a good afternoon.
Take care. See you later.
Cheers.